The damage model for the zombies has been improved a lot compared to everything that we have done before, and as I can see, you enjoy that a lot. Yeah. Just basically smashing a dead corpse into pieces. Tymon Smektala, Dying Light franchise director, straight from Gamescom. For those who are unaware, Dying Light is one of the leading survival horror series in video gaming. All of those games happen in a world filled with zombies, infected. So they are rather quite grim and focused on surviving very tough environment. But Dying Light the Beast puts a number of twists on that formula. And one of those twists is that the main protagonist, Kyle Crane, is actually a very unique type of survival horror game because he is a master survivalist and he is able to survive for a long time using his, I would say, human abilities, his agility, his traversal skills, crafting, resource gathering, fighting using human weapons. But because of the experiments that have been made on him, he was experimented upon and got some extra abilities, and those extra abilities manifest in so-called beast mode. And in the beast mode, you can unleash the rage, the fury, the wrath that you have within. And for a short moment of time, get a kind of release of those emotions, but also a moment where you don't have to worry that much about how challenging and how deadly the world is around you. Those are the moments where you can actually turn the table and start dealing lots of damage and to all of the threats around you. It actually came from us. So of course, what players know is only what they play, right? But as a developer of this world, we have it designed in a much more detailed manner, and there's a number of facts, events, characters that players are not aware of yet because they will discover them as they will play our games in the Dying Light series. And we knew that we wanted to have Kyle Crane evolving over the course of those games, and then we started asking ourselves, so what can we do? Like, how could Kyle Crane, someone who proved himself as someone who can really survive a lot of challenge in previous games, what we can do to make him even more interesting, even more powerful, and basically that's where the idea came from. It's a combination of our willingness of and our search of trying to do something fresh and unique in the survival horror genre, and also of all of the narrative dependencies and backstories that we have created for this world. So the damage model for the zombies has been improved a lot compared to everything that we have done before, and as I can see, you enjoy that a lot. Yeah. Just basically smashing a dead corpse into pieces, and that might not sound too politically correct, but actually that's one of the joys of playing a Dying Light game, where you can again feel threatened by the environment, feel the pressure coming from the environment, but then when you start fighting with zombies, you can really see the effect of your weapons. You feel the weight of your weapons, and you also see what happens to the bodies of zombies. That's something very inherent to the zombie genre. So there's a number of ways that you can hurt zombies. There's a quite huge, actually the biggest that we have ever done, number of visible wounds that you can put on their bodies, cut belly in half, rip of heads, cut limbs. All of those systems are quite detailed. So for example, when you are cutting hands or legs, you can cut them in at least three different places. So each time when you hit a zombie, not only you feel the weight, the swing of the weapon, but also you see a different reaction. Another reason why you see that different reaction is because a lot of the game is based on physics, and even if we use reaction animations, those are very short ones. So basically, if you stand in front of 10 zombies, let's say, and you hit each one of them with the same weapon, you will always get a slightly different reaction, slightly different outcome, and that kind of emergency is also something that our players appreciate a lot. So actually we improved parkour in Dying Light the Beast by having less of parkour in some places, and that might sound very counterintuitive, but the unique part about Dying Light the Beast is that it takes place on a map that's completely different compared to previous games. All of our previous games were taking place in cities, which feel like a natural playground for parkour, but we decided to go for more of this more open, full of nature type of vibe. The name of the place is Castor Woods, and it has been modeled based on inspirations and references from Switzerland, Swiss Alps. So you will get plenty of touristy locations, but also farm fields, swamps, hiking trails up in the mountains. And what we have discovered is that in some of those places, you cannot really chain parkour moves as effectively as in the city environment, but that actually adds to the environment, adds to the experience. Why? Because you feel more fragile, you feel more vulnerable. The parkour was always like a get out of jail card for us, because you were chased by zombies, the zombies were around you, and you were using parkour to quickly get away. But there are places in the game right now where you can't really do that. But then on the other hand, what we decided to do is we also decided to create, like from the design perspective, we call them parkour islands. So on this huge map, there are places where parkour is super dense, intensified, where you can really parkour properly. And a good example of that is the town, the tourist town in the center of the map, where you basically can feel like you are in a parkour paradise. Every move connects, every move you can chain. You see a ledge that you want to grab. We spend a lot of effort and testing and basically checking every connection that you can really grab that. So there's a number of areas like that, the tourist town, the industrial park, that when you are there, you can do really proper parkour. And it's important for us because parkour was always the legacy, the essence of Dying Light experience. When we started working on the first game, we have invited David Bell, the inventor, the father of the modern parkour, to give us insights, to share his experience, expertise with us. And we know that no matter what, Dying Light games have to have parkour. Dying Light games have to present this kind of way of moving around, of traversing, and we always strive to present that in a very realistic, very grounded manner. There's not much of science fiction here. When you do parkour in Dying Light, you basically feel like one of those parkour guys that is doing those crazy POV videos on YouTube. That's the experience that we are aiming for. Actually not, but of course, like, it's very easy to get a lot of references from basically on the internet. But cool thing about it is that okay, I will share a little secret with you. Like, officially, the game is inspired by Swiss Alps, and you will find plenty of places which are basically modeled after real life locations in Switzerland. But then, of course, we are a Polish developer, and there are areas in Poland which are very similar in terms of how the terrain is structured, what kind of architecture is there. Actually, quite similar to what happens. So how Switzerland looks and what you can find in Switzerland. And luck made it so a big number of our artists is actually coming from those areas of Poland. So they also managed to kind of sneak in some inspirations from the hometowns, the places that they were living. One of such places is a Polish town named Kłodzko. So even though we didn't go to Switzerland, we used a lot of references from Switzerland, but we did go to Kłodzko, and our artists basically live there. So they took a lot of inspirations also from this region, which is sometimes called Polish Alps. It's not really Alps, but this is how it's called. So in that regard, it's actually quite realistic. What happened is that we even took some real life objects from our own houses, homes, and photo scanned them into the game. So, like, for example, in one of the safe zones, you will see a blanket with a lion on it. So this is actually a blanket that one of our artists took from her grandmother, and we scanned it and put it into the game, just to have those little Easter eggs, in jokes that we can enjoy as developers, but also adding to the immersiveness and realism of the game. So in terms of size, it's bigger than the map from Dying Light 1, the first map, the slums. But as always with our game, it's actually not not that important how big it is when you look at it from the bird's eye perspective. What's important is how dense it is and how you can enter any building that you see, how you can really exploit the world within. So this is what we take our pride for, our pride in. This is a place where there are lots of buildings, lots of also buildings which have a number of floors. So there's plenty of space to explore, find resources, craft stuff using the resources that you are finding. For me, I'm not sure. Maybe there will be someone that will quote me on that and actually challenge what I'm saying. But I think this is one of the most dense open worlds, most dense in terms of gameplay. I think it's very hard to find an open world where action gameplay challenge is waiting for you basically in every possible square inch, square meter. But that's Dying Light. Dying Light is a game where if you traverse the world, you are playing. You're not just pushing the stick forward. You have to interact with the world, jump, grab ledges. There are lots of zombies around, so you're constantly fighting. If you drive a vehicle, something that we are adding in the Beast, you basically also kind of playing the game. So in terms of gameplay and how full the world is of you actually interacting with the world and playing in the world, I think Dying Light is basically the most dense open world game in the world. Maybe I should be maybe a little bit more less bragging, but really I do feel like that. Yeah, absolutely. So we call that system encounters, just basically to have something straight and direct and to the point. And what happens is, as you travel the world, of course, there are scripted sequences, missions, main story missions, side stories that you kind of get to play. They are partially scripted, of course, but the joy of Dying Light is to going from one kind of quest bubble to another quest bubble and finding your own route there and having your own adventures there. And then on top of that, we also have those encounters, dynamic encounters. So there's a number of things that are basically just happening as you move around. Because in the game you play as Kyle Crane, and he has those beast-like abilities, because he was experimented upon by this guy named the Baron, a mad scientist of this region. But this guy actually has an army, his own private army that does whatever he wants. So you will encounter those Baron's men. You will encounter Baron's men that will be trying to hunt you. You will be encountering special types of zombies popping out here and there. You will see some survivors trying to survive, maybe being grabbed by the biter or in some kind of other trouble. So a lot of things are happening basically as you roam around the world. And it's always very, very fun to interact with that. Just beware, because you're driving a vehicle right now, and it's a survivor game, so the vehicle can be destroyed, it can be damaged. As you can see, it can run out of fuel, so you really have to be constantly mindful about what's going to happen here. Yes, you can use that as well, but of course, like, don't destroy all of the vehicles on the map, right? Because then you will not have anything to drive with. But as you can see, Dying Light gameplay is actually known for moments like this, where one system interacts with another system, where it interacts with another system. And then you end up with a game that constantly surprises you with something that happens which constantly kind of keeps you on your toes and creates those very interesting, very cool, sometimes funny situations. We are always looking for design choices which support that. So, for example, we have an enemy like a regular biter, but he has a tank on his back, and that tank, if you hit it, it goes on fire. Then the zombie tries to get you, but he moves past other zombies. Those other zombies also catch fire. So lots of systems that you can use to basically have fun in that world, but only if you basically master the game. Because at the beginning of the game you are weak. You need to learn the systems. You need to learn how the game operates. So it's rather challenging, and we really want to keep that survival vibe very strong in Dying Light the Beast. But as you get closer to the end game, it all turns into something that you could call ultimate zombie playground, where you basically can just have fun with in a world full of zombies. And it's especially visible in co-op mode, because Dying Light the Beast also supports 4-player co-op. And then it's really a different type of experience than when you play it alone. When you play it alone, it's very atmospheric, very kind of immersive experience that draws you in, that you feel the pain, the struggle, everything that Kyle Crane went through, his kind of need, his willingness to take revenge on the Baron, so you can really get into the story. In co-op is a little bit different, because you have three of your friends running around, up to three of your friends running around. Probably you're talking on the headsets, exchanging some latest gossip, or talking about, I don't know, the latest Netflix movie or series. So the tone is somewhere else, but definitely it keeps being fun. And like, my best go-to scenario for Dying Light games is first start in single player, experience the story, get drawn in it, kind of feel all of the emotions, and then after some time just invite your friends, dim the lights, and have some fun Friday night with your friends, drinking beer or eating some chips and or snacks or whatever, just basically enjoying being in this world. Because I think this is really a very nice world to be in, even though there are lots of zombies, and especially in this game where the vistas are so beautiful, where you can really kind of almost feel the breath air, that the fresh air that's breathe the fresh air, that's basically something that you expect in a place like this.
Yeah, that's
Good.
That's about it, actually. Thanks.
Good.
Great. Yeah, it's great to go hands on with the game. When's release date?
September 19th.
Yeah.